Cool.
Woo! All right. Episode 8 of the MMAF podcast. At Unifox, we have Marco in front of me, and then we have a very, very, very special guest, someone that I'm super proud to introduce and ecstatic to introduce, honestly. You want to introduce yourself?
Name's Chuck Hafer.
If you don't know,
if you don't know me, you can electric_champion on Instagram. I'm kidding. No, thank you guys so much for having me, man. It's awesome to be here. It's a long time coming, honestly. I feel like this should have happened a while ago.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. This is something I felt like, it should have happened because we've all had so many conversations together, just like us three.
Literally just like sitting around, like whether it be at school or like here, just like talking about life.
And the experiences we have like together, you two, us two, like the conversations, the texts, like the workouts we've had together.
Workouts, these guys.
Yeah, man, I'm
killing me.
And I'm super happy to have you on as a guest because like you're a guy. As you guys don't know, this guy can talk. If there's somebody who can talk and converse well, it is this guy right in front of me.
Sometimes for better or for worse. So
yeah, I mean, dude, I think it's helped you. And I remember being in our fraternities. We're all part of the same fraternity. You were like a mentor in a way, big brother. Maybe that's not the best mentor you want. Some people would say, but I would take it, dude, because you really got me out of my shell. I felt like
appreciate that.
A lot of those parties, like I don't want to talk to, or maybe I was a little nervous. Like you just came up and talked. You made me feel so welcome. You're like, dude, talking, and then like you made me so much more confident to talk to people and just converse and be yourself.
Dude, that's what you always told people. I really appreciate that, man. Yeah, one of the things I always used to say, like during all of our, chapter meetings and stuff like that, and people used to really kind of like get on me about this because, which I mean, at the end of the day, like you join a fraternity in college, especially a big school like at Maryland, to kind of like condense, right? Like meet more people, be a part of something, and I mean, there's obviously a lot of benefits that come along with it. I mean, there's obviously, as we all know, the dark side to the fraternities, which that's very publicly, known out there. But, it's a social club at the end of the day. You rush around, you find your boys that you feel like you vibe with, and then you go into it. And, I just always love, the people would just be like, we be at these socials, you got all these girls, like, over here, right? You got all these new people to meet, and if you aren't, like, a sociable guy to begin with, if you're not, like, an outgoing guy, you have alcohol around you, which that can certainly, that's a great social lubricant. So at the end of the day, it was like, so at the end of the day for me, it was like, I always try to bring that out of people. I feel like I've always been that type of guy. I love like just getting into depth, like getting to know people better.
Yeah.
And I seeing obviously both of you guys, since when I obviously joined, I think I joined a semester before you came in.
Yeah.
With SAE in Maryland, and it was like watching both of your development just since then has been just absolutely, it's been a pleasure seeing that, man. I mean, it's beautiful. So
yeah, man. You always give us the best praise, but I'm always just super grateful for you, man. You're always just the best energy ever, man. Always positive.
It's a grind, man. I think every day, it's not every day is going to be a good day, but any day above the ground is a good day. So
yeah,
Pitbull.
Anything about
was that like a Pitbull song or something?
Yeah,
I remember that.
It's a great day.
No, my red go get paid. Yeah. Speaking of fraternity, heard that in the basement probably numerous times.
I love that, Chuck. Yeah, man. It's when I think about you, dude. I was on the drive here, and I was thinking about a couple things. Like one thing you told me last time that really stuck with me because I don't have data right now. My dad couldn't pay the data bill, survival times, whatever. But anyway, I'm like thinking on the way here because I can't go on my phone, and I'm like, man, last time we were out, you told me something that really has stuck with me this whole time since over a month. You said to me, man, what's funny? There's a reason the golden rule exists. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And they probably flew off your mind. You're probably just yapping. But when you came to me and said that, I was like, man, that's so true. Like you treat everybody nicely, man. You treat everybody good energy. You get good energy back to you. And
it's really as simple as that, man. I think at the end of the day, it's like, I was actually my father who told me that. Huge shout out, Papa Hafer there. My dad is
guy. Your dad is an amazing guy.
Yeah, man. Your dad
always treats everyone with respect.
And that's, dude, I'll make sure I tell him that he'll really appreciate it. He'll probably see this. He doesn't have any social media, but he kind of just raised me on that, man. It was like, at the end of the day, like, people would just want someone who's going to be genuinely nice and kind to them. And it's tough at times. I've had my moments, I'm not perfect, and like obviously it's tough because, we're human, we're imperfect. So it's like, there's those moments where obviously, I've probably been a bully or I've been mean to someone and I, probably, I didn't intend that be that way, but, just kind of how I came off. And, at the end of the day, it's like, everybody just is looking for a friend out there, man. We're all in the same race together. We're all running the same race, just at different paces. And yeah, man, I mean, for me, it was like, I always just wanted people to feel welcomed around me. That was like one thing I established to myself, very young, is I wanted people when I enter a room to be like, oh, Chuck's here, not, oh, Chuck's here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I never wanted to be, like, I used to have a coach back in the day. I used this terminology, an energy vampire. Someone who just sucks the life out of you, man. Like, when you're around those type of people.
That's real.
And it's real, man. People, like, dude, like, I mean, there's people, like...
And we've probably been there ourselves, been those vampires.
Dude, and I feel like, even myself, man, when I get my little attitudes or my moods or whatever, you know what I mean? But it's just like, I think that's the thing. If you want to be like a beacon of light, you want people to, be attracted like a moth to a flame to you, and that's... And it's tough, man. I mean, because like I said, you're not going to be perfect all the time, but it's like the simple things, man. The simple social graces of saying hi, how you doing, being invested, actually looking someone in the eyes. Like we were talking about this a little before. Obviously, we went on live here. It's just like this right here. This has taken away literally every single I wish I was my parents' generation. We didn't have this social media, this quick dopamine fix where. And it's like, the value of having a one-on-one conversation with someone, getting to know about someone's interests. What do you like to do? What's like your makeup? What makes you tick, man? Like, what's something you like? And then, picking that and going in from there, and that's, it's I wouldn't say I'm, the greatest conversationalist in the world, but it's like, I know where to get it started, man. I just love learning about people. I love, learning about people's backgrounds, like I said, what makes people tick, like, what is like kind of their story. Because, I mean, that's the thing. Everybody comes from somewhere. It's like simple psychology, man. Every single person, like, the reason they are is because of events that have happened in their lives. So, I think it's cool stuff, man. So.
Dude, and the thing about you, man, is, like, I came in junior into Maryland and joined the fraternity. I came in, obviously with, like, a little bit of ego and, like, okay, I need to act a certain way. But the one thing I observed about you, man, is, like, you had so many friends. Like, you knew everybody on that campus, I felt like. Like, wherever we went, you knew somebody, whether it was the bar, someone on a sports team, someone from class, someone from a different fraternity, someone from our fraternity. You knew everybody. And everybody was like, I never heard somebody like shit talk you.
Yeah, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. They say if someone's not, talking bad about you, not doing something right. But,
it's like, everybody was excited when you were, like, when you came somewhere. Like, I always felt comfortable,
Appreciate
like,
that, man.
because, at school, Friday, Saturday nights, you go to the bar with your friends. If I was rolling with Chuck, I was happy and I felt safe and comfortable because I'm like, this guy has good energy. We're going to have fun. He's not going to get me into any trouble, and we're just going to have a good time, and people are going to, like, want to be around him, and everyone's just happy when you're there, man. Like, I remember you pulling up to, like, the socials, which was, like, our fraternity parties. When Chuck got there, it's like, all right, now things are going to be fun, man. Like, the energy's going, people are happy, we're chatting it up, like, it's a good time. You brought that light, that good energy everywhere, man.
It's very, very, really do appreciate that, man. It means more than you'll ever know, and I think... And just like, I don't know, for me, my story is like, coming into Maryland, it was like, my first years, I chased the baseball dream for like the first 10, 12 years of my life.
Yeah, man, get into that if you want.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that. So for me, it was like when I came into Maryland, like I spent my life, grinding baseball. Like when I was like 12 years old, because growing up, I was a kid that was definitely, I was definitely the outgoing type, but I was definitely, I think, a little more shy when I was younger, and I think it was partially kind of been due to the fact I was always, and some insecurities that still, follow me to this day, were things that, that I went through when I was younger, kids feeling kind of like a little bit of an outcast, because I definitely am a little bit of a different character. I'm a character, and just in general, so, you stand out in the crowd, and when I picked up a baseball bat, I realized, athletically, it really all started watching the Orioles back in the Buck Showalter days, man. That was like what really kind of inspired me to, want to play baseball. Because, fun fact about me, up until that point, I actually rode horses for 6 years.
I did not know that.
Yeah, no one really knows that. So yeah, I could still know how to do canter, dressage. I knew how to I rode bareback. I did all that stuff.
That's a rich man's sport.
That's a rich man's story.
It was fun. Honestly, I felt like it was kind of girly in me, so I kind of like quit it. But but it's one of those things. I guess you take a girl on a date or whatever, and it's like,
hey, you got it down the line.
That's a pretty cool thing to know.
No, that's pretty cool, man.
So yeah, and then I picked up the baseball bat, and I was like 5'10", $160 when I was 12. I was huge. Like I was a big freaking 12-year-old.
Yeah, dude.
It's like that.
So I was good. I was athletic. I mean, in my 12-year, I played in this tournament called the Cal Ripken World Series, which was like a big thing. It was basically like a subsidiary of like the Little League World Series, right? Which, the Little League World Series obviously much bigger, way bigger scale, obviously way more commercialized. But the Cal Ripken World Series was like, it was just, still to this day, that 12-year-old season going to Cooperstown is probably the best season of my life, because after that, it was like, man, it was just all about the recruitment. It became like a chore. And that's ultimately what led to my demise with it. But that summer, man, it was just unreal. We played against Korea on Cal Seniors. If you've ever been to the Ripken Complex, it's absolutely unbelievable. I mean, they have like all the fields there, right? Not like the main Aberdeen Ironbirds field, which is like now I think they're going to be like they were like the single A affiliate of the Orioles, but they're getting moved to like some independent affiliate now. I don't even know what's happening with them, but like Cal Senior's yard, it's like a mini Camden Yards. So they have like it's literally set up like if you look it up, like the pictures and everything like that, it's exactly like literally replicated like Camden Yards. So it's like you're playing on like a mini Camden Yards. It was cool. Played against Team Korea, man. It was unbelievable. Like it was like they had Team Japan and our team there because it was based in Hartford County, right? Like I mean there was like all the different regions of the U.S. like Pacific Northwest, Southeast, Midwest Plains, and then there was us, which we were Team Hartford County. Which was like, it was insane because that was like, the hometown team because it was in Aberdeen. It was the coolest thing ever because it was like, I mean, man, we played Korea, then we had pizza with them. It was like communicating with these guys who don't even speak minuscule
That's pretty
English.
Crazy.
That's an insane
It was one of the coolest experiences of my life. And still to this day, I feel like that summer shaped a lot of, baseball in a way was like, it gave me like confidence because it was like I was good at something. But then just like a lot of things in life, which we tend to do, it became my identity. And it was something that I worked my freaking ass off for, man. I mean, when I was 12, 13 years old, it was just like I was playing on these insane teams. And then it was like when I got to high school, it was like everything was just about achieving a new goal, right? It was like when I went to Archbishop Curley my freshman year, it was about making varsity. And
that was a high school?
Yeah. That was like I went to Curley first, and I transferred to John Carroll, which was I mean I don't really, I'm not a Curley guy, put it that way, at all. John Carroll, I'm not wearing my ring tonight, but I freaking all my boys, who I'll probably talk about a few of them on here, but I mean, dude, just like best time ever. But my main goal, and kind of to summarize the whole thing, was playing Division I. That was like my ultimate goal at the end of the day.
A lot of kids that are playing sports or teenagers, they want to play D1. Yeah. That's that goal, man.
It is like, it's the thing. It's, in a lot of ways, it's like, it's like achieving the mountaintop, right? I don't know what it is. Like, I guess with like jujitsu or,
anything you do in life.
It's like whatever a belt is.
Mountaintop,
It's whatever, in your mind is like, you reaching your best, the peak.
Your true self, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, man. But that was the thing. I became so obsessed with it. And then there's like, I had a really good sophomore season. I played on this team called the Evo Shield Canes. I did this huge national showcase called the PBR Futures Games, and dude, it was nuts. I was getting like handwritten letters from like UConn, Virginia Tech.
Holy shit!
I was getting like a bunch of like emails from like schools like Mount St. Mary's and Radford, which were basically like, yeah, if you show up to our camp, like we'll give you an offer. But that's the thing, man. Like the ego, and that's something I still. It just like, dude, I was like, nah. I mean, I'm getting these letters from these big schools. Like this is where I'm going, And I wanted to play at Maryland. Maryland never really recruited me, but then, dude, it's just like and God has a way of humbling you, right? And like. I was, confident. I worked really hard. I was always, working on my swing, my craft. I was in the gym, and that's really where kind of my gym, the influence of the gym sparked. Because I love just putting in the work and then watching the results. Because it never failed me. It was like the gym. It would, during, those times in my life when I was not just, baseball. That was like a frustration for me because it is a game of failure. I mean, other things, man. Just go in there and bang out 500 pounds on the hex bar deadlift, and you're like, heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like, get all the anger out. And then, my junior year, I really struggled. Did not do good at all. But I met so many great people at John Carroll, and then, I just really kind of started seeing, like, during that period of time that there was life outside of baseball. Then, dude, COVID, man. I worked my ass off this summer going into my senior year of college. I did just about, and you could ask anybody, my old strength coaches, my coaches. There was nobody who was more prepared for me. And then we had 8 games my senior year. I was batting .481, had like 19 RBIs in 8 games. We went to this like Florida tournament. It was so much fun. And then, dude, just like COVID, man. And that's like where I feel like the demise of my baseball career started. Because then I ended up accepting an offer to go play this Division II school called West Virginia Wesleyan, which was just awful. It was not, and I don't really, no disrespect to anybody there. It just really was just not at all what I wanted out of a college baseball experience. It's about a 1,400 student school, if that. At the time, it was probably like 700 because COVID. So people were like online. It was just, dude, it was the worst time ever. And like you couldn't leave your dorm really. You couldn't go out, do anything. So,
dude, that's not to interrupt you, but that's such an interesting predicament that a lot of athletes our age face because they grinded so hard for that big senior year when you get scouted and then COVID happened. So it messed so many athletes up across the whole world, but definitely the U.S. that had dreams to play D1. I think it completely probably changed their past, and a lot of them are probably not even playing that sport anymore. Maybe hate it, and then going to that school too, and people are online. It ruins your whole experience. But in a way, it also could bring you to something greater, like where you're at now.
Oh, exactly, dude, 100%. I think, everything in your life is ultimately, at the end of the day, like, I think there's a verse in the Bible, I forget what it is, like, whatever you set your plans to, the Lord's plan always will prevail in the end. And I truly believe that, I really, and I kind of saw that because I realized, and, I wanted to go to Maryland. Like, my dad went there. My sister goes there now. My aunt, my Uncle Will, who I freaking adore, went there. My Uncle Scott. It's just like so many of my family, but obviously I had no shot of getting into Maryland out of high school. I had like a 3.9, like 1140 SAT, which is like not bad, but like I think like one school I applied to that I got into, which was just like literally as a student, was Delaware. And that was like no scholarship money even with that. So I was like, dude, I had no shot of getting into Maryland. I was like, freaking Maryland. My friends out here with like freaking 1,400, 1,500 SATs, like all these like honors classes. Here I am just, hey, I'm Chuck Hafer. Like, I really want a 10-year university. Like, that's how I felt.
And there's a lot of kids who didn't get into Maryland. And you're looking at two of them.
Yeah,
both
dude,
applied out of high school. We had no shot.
Dude, this is like the next thing I was going to say too. I got to give the biggest shout in the world to Hartford Community College. Best season of baseball. I mean, the guys that I played with that season, we were so talented. We were the 10th best team in the country in Division I JUCO. I mean, half that team, dogs I played with. Like Zach Oswald, man, ended up playing at Pitt. I don't know where he is now, but Joe Suarez, Youngstown State. Joe Clancy, ended up going to play at Eastern Kentucky. Braden Carpathios, we had a guy named Braden Carpathios, man. This guy's a dog. He's in the Padres organization now. Junior college. And, gosh, man, like Nick Gaitan ended up going to Bethune-Cookman.
I love how you remember these names.
Dude,
it proves how much this guy cares.
Yeah. Dude, they were the best, man. Still these guys, I was literally with my boy Jaden the other night. My boy Brody, I just visited him, played at URI, going to play at NJIT, just visited him in Jersey. Like, it was just like ridiculous, like how good we were, and playing against, that's the thing about JUCO. The competition would range from guys like throwing 95 to guys throwing like 60. You never knew what you were gonna get when you hit the field, but it was like a killer mindset, man. That's where I really learned a lot from those guys in a sense of just like, man, we just knew we were good and we just knew we were gonna dominate. And I had some D2, D3 schools that were interested in me, but at the end of the day, I literally, just was like, I need to keep my grades up because my GPA my freshman year was like a 2.2 cumulative. It was really bad. Yeah. I did online school, had like a 2.8 in the fall, which is not great. I was like a marketing guy at the time. I was in the business school there. And then, dude, I would probably say this, get a little vulnerable. That time in my life, my spring of my freshman year of college was one of the most depressed I've ever been in my life. Class-wise, I didn't like the school. I was like, what am I doing with my life?
So where were you at? Was this West Virginia, then you went community, or community, then West Virginia?
Wesleyan, this was West Virginia Wesleyan, then Hartford Community College.
Okay, so and that's when you were talking about the most, depressed, hard time.
It was tough,
community?
Man. Hartford Community was great. Okay. I was talking about Wesleyan.
So that was your hard, okay.
Yeah, because it was just like, baseball-wise, and I'm not going to get into details. Let's just say we had a coach that was not really invested fully into the team, and the program in itself just really wasn't ran well overall. It still is not ran well. And honestly, there's nothing to do in West Virginia. I have an active agenda because, dude, it's just literally like country roads, like literally that's all there is.
It's a lot of degeneracy, especially West Virginia University.
To the moonshine, that's all it is down there.
They're drinking probably Tuesday they start.
Oh, dude,
maybe Monday off. Maybe.
My cousin William actually just goes there. Hey, William, I hope you're loving it down there. I know you're having fun. But yeah, and so then when I went to Hartford, man, I got my grades up big time. I think I had a 3.4 cumulative leaving there. So, I cried when I got into Maryland, transferred into there, and I knew I wanted to do, I was just so done and tired with the whole, baseball thing because I worked so hard, and that's a lot of times in life, man. You're gonna fall short so many times, and I really worked hard, man. Like I said, I gave my all, and there was a love-hate relationship for a while, but now I think I'm at ease with it. And then, obviously went to Maryland, and, I didn't have any intentions of joining a fraternity when I got there because I had a solid group of friends there. My boy Jordy and my buddy Chris Roberts, who are two of my really good friends from high school, were already there and had a really good friend group that I kind of, assimilated to. They became my really good friends. And I just didn't really, know, honestly, what I wanted to do. But fun fact is my uncle was an SAE, my Uncle Will, and then my other uncle, who was an SAE as well, actually met my Aunt Leah, who was in Theta at the time. So I was like a double legacy or whatever the hell it was, and I was just like, man, I just never forget. I remember being out at Cornerstone, my first couple times there, and rushing as a junior, which you did it. I think you were a sophomore, right?
I think technically I was a sophomore, but I was It was weird how, because I changed. I was going to graduate like a year early, and then I stayed another year.
Yeah, you're a smart guy. That we'll get into later about how me and Marco met.
Yeah.
Freaking awesome story.
Yeah. But that's the cool thing. We all have the same transfer thing. We all transferred in around
that. It's really
from community college and kind of came in at that age of a junior.
Do you guys feel like it was like the best decision you made? Because I feel like I would have never gotten into Maryland if it wasn't for
1,000%.
Because dude, I saved so much money.
Dude,
and you just save time. You save wasted
you learn
time.
a lot about yourself, right?
You learn a lot about yourself, and dude, it's the opportunity of like. You actually have to figure out why are you going to school, you know?
Yeah.
Because like a lot of people go to Maryland, they just fuck off, and then maybe they get a degree they didn't really want, they didn't really think much about it. But when you're in community college and you're not there's no social life dominating it. You're kind of just going to school and you're like, all right, what am I actually doing here?
Right.
Because I'm not going to go to Maryland and you realize education's actually about getting a degree and you came here with a purpose, So I like that clarity I got there. So.
Absolutely. You see, for me, man, it's like after actually going to a school like UMD, which don't get me wrong, it's a great university. I mean, Public Ivy. I'm a very proud alum. I love my Terps, but sometimes, I don't know, you see guys for example, like Charlie Kirk, for example, guy didn't go to college, and look what he's done. He's one of those guys who's very actively against, the college curriculum, because, and I'm not going to get, obviously, political in here, but I think a lot of it does, there's a lot of classes that, let's just say, that I took, and I was communications, oh my gosh, the amount of guys, in the fraternity, who were engineering and freaking, all my boys, Mr. Comm major over here.
Yeah, they like the clown comm.
Yeah, comm, and I'm like, okay, I knew I wanted to get into sales, you know what I mean? And there was there was classes that were really interesting. I took a persuasion class, Comm 475. That was probably one of the most interesting classes I've ever taken in college.
I think public speaking, too, they teach you.
Yeah, public speaking, very valuable. Business communication, ethics. There's a few classes in there that were just interpersonal communication. It was really a lot of it. There was one that was really interesting, man, conflict management. And that was more in the brain. There was some psychological aspects talking about hijacking your amygdala, right? Which is the thing in your brain. It's the part of your brain that processes emotions. Just really cool stuff. But there was also some classes, it's just and I'm not going to get into details, it's just dude, come on. I remember this one class, it was I literally showed up the first day, and once I found out the entire class,
I remember you told me this.
I think it was the history of Russia and Ukraine. I was I showed up, I think, twice the entire semester.
That's insane.
So, and then when I ended up rushing, man, SAE, and
the fall you rushed.
The fall of my junior year, I was so adamant against it because, I said, I had a friend group, but that's really when, that and when I started working at Cornerstone, right, bouncing, was when I really saw my social network expand. Because then I found a bunch of guys with similar interests who I really loved. Not we had the greatest reputation on campus as a whole, which, I didn't really give a rat's ass about that. I loved everybody, and I met some great boys. And it was a lot of fun, man. I met some great people, guys and girls, when I joined it. It was fun, man. You know how it was, and that was the thing. I partied my ass off, and looking back on it, there was definitely some things I did that I regret, because it was just I wanted to. I was cooped up. I was an athlete. I missed out on so much because, I just gave so much of my life to baseball. I was just what's up? And that's, naturally that's how it was. But, when I got there and everything, it was it was a grind school-wise, more so than I thought. But man, it was great. Lived in CP Towers. Had a great roommate, Cam Mezzatesta, one of my buddies I went to high school with. He's a chill little 5'6" surfer guy. Hey man. So it was it was always fun hanging out with him. And we were in a great location. We were right down the road from literally everything. Old Town, right the main strip, Marathon, Seastone, Bents, Turf, whatever. In which now they got the Green Turtle right there, which didn't have if that was there,
Yeah.
But it was awesome, man. I loved my time there. I met so many great people. And, there was the ups and the downs, just like anything. But, I'm a proud Maryland alum, and I loved College Park. So, yeah, man. Happy
The thing about SAE, man, is, there's characters in that fraternity. I feel it's, a lot of fraternities, at least from the outside looked at, is, I don't know, it's kind of, these similar guys, I feel like. But
clones.
The thing about SAE is, it's smaller, but there's so many characters in that fraternity.
Yeah, 100%.
Different people, super smart, grindaholics, very smart engineers, or bio kids. The first kid that comes to mind is Fleersh.
Yeah,
smart ass kids
man.
that.
Yeah,
and then even Kevin Yin, my roommate, our roommate.
Yeah, Yin.
And then there's even
my new member
engineers, the business guys. You had a lot of different personalities, which was kind of cool.
It was and that was a thing, man.
You see a lot, you learn a lot.
You do. It was literally, it was just a blend, and you put it into a blender, and then you kind of got. these guys, man, that's the thing. Everybody has connections. Like and being like a large national fraternity, it was cool going to like different like alumni events or like, national events, Founders Day stuff, and seeing these guys who are very successful and just networking, really cool. Man, But, it was great, man. I do miss the simplicity of that. That was like the best part about college, just the simplicity. But I didn't know what I wanted to do, really. I mean, I thought it was going to be sports sales. Like, that's the thing. And I think that's the common misconception with social media and everything. It's like, you need to know what you want to do right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like hard on myself. I know you guys are too, I mean, it's like, you just want to know, like, your clear path. Like, God, like, show me what I'm supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like, what's my purpose? But I think that like kind of defeats the whole journey of life, and you got to go through the trials and the errors, the ups, the downs. It's just ultimately what shapes you, who you are. So,
100%.
Yeah, man.
I feel like your brain's probably clicking when he said that, just through you reading the Bible too.
Yeah, man.
That uncertainness.
Yeah, you need to have uncertainty in life, and the thing for me, like I've realized a lot is. You don't need a perfect plan ever in life. You just need to try and have a rough draft. And when you start that rough draft, then you rewrite that rough draft, and you keep.
And dude, you're the king of that, brother.
Yeah, until you get a final draft with what you're doing, and then it's something, But a lot of my life's been like rough drafts, man. I came into college as a nutrition major. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do nutrition, and then I was like, I'm gonna be a neurosurgeon. So then I get the biochem degree. And then I'm like, oh, but I feel like I blew through college. I was gonna graduate a year early, and then I was like, I'll just stay and. I'll take the MCAT here because, like, what am I going to go home and take the MCAT to home? It's going to be a mess. So I was like, I'll stay in college. And I got the philosophy minor. And then I got that perspective of insight on what you're doing and viewing what you're doing from, like, more of a general perspective and seeing what's the outcome of all this? What does this really all mean to me? Because at the end of the day, you're going to look back on this. It's a piece of paper. It's a title. It's a job opportunity. I'm a neurosurgeon. Great. What does that mean to you? What are you really doing with that degree? What are you doing with your life? So to me, it was
purpose is everything.
Purpose, and it's just... You can get lost in it, man. We have that mindset. All of us are like, we want structure. But if you focus too much on that structure, man, you miss out on what you
living in the moment.
You miss out on living in the moment. You miss out on, like, for me, I was worried. I realized recently I was missing out on family time. My dad's getting old, man. My little brother.
I think about it all the time.
My little brother, Michael, disabled, right? Can't walk or talk. His life, he could die any day, It's that fragile.
It's precious.
It's that fragile. And I'm like, man, I'm not going to be around for that if I go to school for another 10 years. So I'm like, if I want to go back to med school, I can go when I'm like 30, man. Dude. But when I'm 22 to 30, I got to enjoy these years with my family. Like, I got to be around the home. There's options to learn online. There's all these options that are at my disposal, but I'm still weighing things, man. Still weighing things, seeing where I'm gonna go. But
yeah, absolutely, brother. And you're doing great. I mean, you look freaking like a Greek god. The mindset, dude. I'll get into the story. Me and Marco met in the most funniest way possible. So, when I first transferred to Maryland, I actually was not originally wasn't in the communication program until I think it was like the first, what was it? It was like the first semester of my senior year because I was still in like the, what's it called there when you first come in? And you're like not a major. You're not like a major, but you're like, it's like, I was like, not general. It was like, what was it? I forget the name of it, but I had to like get a few prerequisite classes to get into the actual communications program. So one of those was statistics. And anybody who knows me is I can yap my brains out, but I am not a math guy at all. So it was like, what was the class? It was like ADMS 451.
Yeah, it was
educational. Yeah, so we go in there, we had this lecture hall, go on in, and I usually, actually at one point for one of my pledge jobs was I was the kick the sheets guy. So I was forced to take videos of me going up and sitting in the front. I love Brad Carrot, by the way, the kick the sheets dude. That guy's freaking awesome, dude. That is literally Energizer Bunny. That's the type of stuff I love, right? But anyway, so I remember I would just go in there every single day, and then I would look down to the front row, and I just see this guy, man. I could see Marco's neck tats peeping out of his hood.
Some of you that probably just looked at his neck tats with a bat.
And this guy just looked like he was dialed, right? Dialed in, sitting at the front. He's got his little iPad, his little pen so he could draw, in there. I don't know what you have, maybe a Kindle or something.
I had an iPad, yeah.
iPad, yeah, dude. Glasses on, and this guy just looked like he was taking the most. Articulate, best notes. And here I am, dude, just struggling. I mean, you have to get a 7. This class in particular, you had to get a 70 or above to pass. So I was at the same time, I was I guess I was technically undecided. So here I am trying to get these prerequisites to get into communication program, which one of them was you had to have a stats thing. It was a 400 level stats class. And dude, then like one day we were having like a rush event, and this was not a rush event. I think it was like we were doing some type of rush thing.
It was the GAC. It was the
GAC. The GAC. Oh god, that's NSFW. You can't talk about that. The Great American Challenge. Look it up. But anyway, yeah, dude. So this Marco comes in and I recognized him right away. I was like, dude, you're in my stats class. And the funniest thing about this friend group right here with like Zan, Marco, Iuni, like all these guys, it's like freaking clones of each other, dude. It's just like these like tatted, like buff, like freaking like tan Hispanic kids. And I'm just like, what? There's another one? Like, I was like, dude, what are you guys doing down
They keep spawning in.
Spawning. So I was just like, dude, like, I'm not doing well in that class. And Marco's like, yeah, I got like a 97. I was like, dude, can you help me? Like, I have like a 63. Like, I'm struggling here. So, long story short was I actually ended up, Marco helped me out big time. We do like tutoring sessions and stuff. And like, I really got to know Marco and just like how he is as a guy. And like, you know, I mean, like literally, like there's no one like that embodies like a Mamba mentality like this dude. I tell all my friends, literally back home, I'm like, dude, like my boys, Iuni and Marco, like you haven't like seen like effort and like grit. So like you've met these guys, man. Like, and then it just kind of segued from that. I mean, I ended up getting like a 68 in the class. So
yeah, dude, you barely were about to pass, and I was like, no, because I think I got you up from like something like a 60 or like below 60.
You did, yeah. You helped me out big time, man. Just with the homeworks and stuff, and like all that stuff. Understanding it. I mean, gosh, dude, like the coding.
Yeah, the coding. The coding was like, dude, coding. And then you up with that was.
I think our friend Goobs was helping.
Yeah,
too.
So then I took it the second semester. I got an 83. I passed the class with flying colors. Got like a B minus or whatever. Then I met Goobs, who was helping me out, because Marco was like in his like freaking like I think you were taking a bunch of credits.
Yeah, I was taking so many hard bios.
He said his assistant. He's like, here.
I was like,
Marco be at the bar, dude. There's like pit videos of him like the early days, just like sitting at the bar on his computer.
Yeah, that's a story you should tell.
Dude, the bar is like freaking just like packed, and there's Marco just like going.
Dude, yeah, because I remembered it was what was the first day I went out to the bar? It was during summer. I took summer classes because I had the finances for it, and it was just speeding through. I'm like, I'm here for a purpose, man. I'm here to get a degree. So I take those summer classes, and I remember it was someone's birthday. It might have been like Ani's or something. And he was like, come to the bar. And I was like, I got to do work. I got an exam on Monday, so I'll come. It was a Friday, and I was like, I'll come, but I got to study. It's like summer. I don't think there's going to be many people there.
Priorities, man.
Yeah, he's like, bring your bag if you want. You can study. And I was like, all right, bet. So I bring my backpack. They let me in there. Like, they check my backpack, and they're like, all right, this guy just has a bunch of computers and like paper and whatever. All right, let him in. So they let me in, and I'm like, we could get there pretty early, maybe 8, So I take out my papers, I'm studying, and I did this a couple times. So I'd come and I'd start studying, and I get one beer. And this is like, it became a ritual almost. I did this a couple times. I get one beer, and I'd study until I couldn't see my paper anymore. And then I'd be like, all right, let me put the papers away right now. So I'd get up to like 10 beers until I'm like literally 10 beers deep and I'm studying.
And the bar was getting progressively more crowded.
Yeah.
More crowded.
And then a girl comes up to you like, oh, look at you. Yeah. You're just like, or someone, you're like, huh?
No, dude, the girls came up to me and I remember they were like, because they didn't care what I was studying. I could tell they were literally just interested in me.
So outlandish to see someone is studying at the bar.
That wasn't the thing, bro. That is something that I always, working at Cornerstone, I never understood because I ADHD as it is, I can't focus for like crap. If I'm in like a social setting, man, I'm just like, I'm literally trying to bounce from conversation to conversation, and just like, with my work, it's like, I mean, like, God, man, I should be prescribed Adderall or something like that, which I'm against that. I wouldn't want to be prescribed that. I feel like some people get like addicted to that too easily when they have that prescription. But man, these people would come in here on like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, even whatever, and sit down, get themselves a nice big old plate of freaking nachos or like a draft mug or whatever, and just grind homework. And meanwhile, you just hear in the background just like the boom, boom, boom music blaring.
How people did that.
I'm like, dude, like this is so counterintuitive. It's like, oh, like let me go out to the bar. And it's just like, that's more like honestly.
It's the thing, drafts on Sunday.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, do a homework before Monday.
Yeah,
great.
Dude, what? Like, I'd much rather just sit in my room at my desk or even hell in my own bed and just sit there with my computer and just knock it out. Like, how do you focus in there, man?
It's way better that way. But I think the thing for me was just kind of funny. It was like, I'd gotten so, I guess because also my living situation was pretty, but even growing up, my whole living situation has always been noise. Like, there's screaming, there's babysitters, there's my brother, it's mad noise. There's always mad noise.
So you felt like comfort and chaos. Almost.
Yeah, it's like a background noise for me. Because I got really good at like, just like cutting it out. So I'd literally just be like, so when you have so many voices, like I got some of my best work done in lecture halls. Like I wouldn't watch what the teacher's actually talking about, but I'd go into a lecture hall just to do work, and because it's just
whatever works, man.
And you hear so many voices, I'd just be like, bet, okay, time to work. And like it's literally background noise for me. It's like an overstimulating amount of voices, but
I mean, it's kind of like the gym, dude. I feel like in a sense, like for me, and I'd love to talk about my music taste, but I'm in the gym and like we do our lifts, and everything. Like I'm not in there like listening to like something that's like I need like something heavy and hard, right? Like I need something that's gonna like keep me like motivated, right? So that's why I'll blare Metallica or like Van Halen or we saw the Deftones, man. It was freaking awesome. I've been bumping My Own Summer in the gym. That's been like a big song. Cut it or shove it, whatever it is. It's like, I feel like sometimes, when you're in there, you need like that stimulation. I guess it kind of helps. But dude, man, I remember our lifts got so back in the day, and I've gotten better with my habits and stuff. I used to be like a guy that was just go out all the time, booze until I couldn't feel my face no more. I will say this: I was always, and I still am, consistent with the gym. I still, even now, I don't have a membership. I'm like running now that I'm in Federal Hill, but. Dude, man, Marco it was like, and it was so funny because I knew these guys were like nuts, like with the lifting, because right from the get-go when I was actually doing my whole pledging, like Yin made it mandatory that Z, my class, had to go to the gym at least 4 times a week and document it. And I know Art's ass is probably just going in there, taking a freaking picture and leaving. So, but like, there's definitely a few guys who were doing that. But, lifting was just like always like a big part of, my life, and I always go to the gym. I had like my supersets, my days. I cut from being 225 to 194 was my lowest at Maryland. I was cut. But I just started running. I'd run before my list, run after, the sauna. I still miss the T-Rose sauna, man. You pour the water on there.
You're the big sauna guy, man.
Love it,
dude. There
are
roaches in there, though. I've went in there so much.
Dude, it is greasy.
Because I used to do push-ups in the sauna. You don't know if you know about this. I probably talked about
it. You were the one that introduced me to that. I would start doing that when no one was in there because I didn't want to look like a complete freak. And I would do crunches in there, like all that.
So we're just doing leg raises in the sauna.
I do 100, dude, because sometimes I still do this religiously. Every once in a while, I'll be like, all right, for abs today, I'm just going to do 100 straight leg raises and 100 straight crunches. And I don't do it unless it's straight. Like, I don't even give myself if I do 50, I'm not doing 50. It's going to be 100. No matter what, my spine's going to break, I'm going to do 100. So I do that once in a while, just like, a little game. It's the same thing with doing 100 pull-ups after a workout. Maybe it's not beneficial, but it's a little, just a little mainframe. It's a little mental wiring, man. You can do these insane feats,
I'll tell you this, dude. It's like with both these guys, because then again, it was like I said, just clones. Like literally, it was like when I remember, like, because you would pick me up at my apartment for like 6, 7 a.m. lifts, and I'd get up and I'd be like, I can't believe I agreed to this. Then I get up, dude, and then we go up, and God, dude, that freaking, and I always like hated when Mark was like, oh, I'm hitting legs today, because I was just like, I'm gonna get screwed, because, and I used to squat, I mean, you guys saw my videos, I mean, I was doing 500 pounds for 2, like, with a belt, like, not raw, I was gonna say raw, I think my best raw was like 475.
So mad.
But it was, dude, I was also heavier, like 225, 230, but Beast. That was the thing, man, it's like my, like, leg days when I first, because I would always do, obviously, shoulders, chest, I still do arms, whatever, but I just was like, dude, my leg days now, I'm just going to run like 4 or 5 miles. Because I didn't do the squatting, like, used to be my favorite thing, but dude, then you don't do it for a while, you know how it is, man. Like, you're sore, I would be sore for like 6, 7 days after lifting. That dang hack squat machine and crunch, we'd go in there, and dude, I'd be in there, literally, I mean, I don't know, we probably had like 4 plates on, 3 plates, whatever it was, going down, and there it is, like, I'm literally suffering, and then here comes Marco Iuni. You got 5 more in you. You got 5 more. 1981, which like that in reference is like a Tom Platz thing. Like, Ione or like Marco would like send me some like anime or like Tom Platz or like always this guy sending me his reels. What's that guy's name, dude? Like the guy you send me all the time on Instagram, the motivational stuff.
Greg Plitt?
Yeah, Greg Plitt. Yeah. Like, the guy's just sitting there. It's like a black and white like camera.
Talking to the camera.
And it's just like, you gotta want it. You gotta. And dude, I'm just sitting here and like the workouts were, I mean like dude, these guys, man, like whatever we were doing, it was to the max, and it was usually you're pushing yourself 4 or 5 reps.
Yeah, we were screaming, grunting.
Dude, like, I mean, people, like, yeah, and that's, like, honestly, like, I mean, the best, I mean, dude, like, I feel like in any assets, like, I mean, I'm really, like, an all-in type of guy with a lot of stuff, and that's, and not just, obviously, when it comes to the gym, it comes to some other things, which, like I said, I'm trying to get better at, really am, but,
you got it, Chuck.
It was like one of those things where it was like, dude, like, I mean, when we were in there, it was just balls to the wall. It was like, dude, like, we're in here for a reason. We're in here to try to, because a physique, I remember my mom sent me something, and a shout out to Mama Jewel, man, because I can tell you one thing without her in my life, I would not be where I am. I mean, especially recently with some stuff I've been going through, like my mom is my rock. I don't know what I would do without her. So big shout out to Mama Jewel. She is the GOAT. I do not deserve her. But dude, like, I mean, it was like, you're in there, like, what was the thing I was saying about what she sent? It's like a good physique is literally, it is a trophy, man. It is like literally, it's your hours of work, the food, the eating, and that's the biggest part of it, dude. Like I always think to myself, like, man, obviously, I loved the socials and stuff, the parties, but like, if I just didn't drink all these twisted teas, beers, whatever, I wonder how cut I would actually be. Because at the time, I mean, dude, I was pretty cut, but it's the eating, dude. It's eating, it's the lifting, it's the getting up, doing the stuff when you don't want to. And that was the thing that's the most beautiful part about it, man. It was like, and I still do this. Like when I would, with my job, recently I would get up, we had a gym in my most recent gig inside of our building. And you go in there, even if it's just a mile run, dude, at like 5, 6 in the morning, you feel so good the rest of the day. The rest of the day, it's like, you're
just gotta break that
Cloud
sweat,
9, man.
Yeah,
it's like that. It's the reason I did that all in the first place was early morning lifts is funny because it all really started, it was kind of, during COVID, I'd lift pretty early, but the biggest reason was right when I started school, I was like, okay, I was nervous for classes, and I was like, okay, what am I going to, because I'd never been a smart student before, so I'm like, all right, what am I going to do?
Because you're incredibly intelligent.
Now I am, it's years of compounded learning, but, okay, going to those classes, because, we all have nerves. If you're not a smart guy, you're going to be nervous, and I'd go to the gym, and I'd be like, what's the best thing I can do? I'm going to grind my ass off before lift and just wash all those nerves out of me. So when I come to the class,
it's like therapeutic.
Yeah, it's therapeutic, and you come in, you're drained. You're like, all right, I gotta. For me, I literally had a little mental trigger that would tell me like I'm a step ahead. Like it's gonna sound a little egotistical. I don't give a fuck. I have a step ahead of everybody in the class. I've already won one thing.
You've already won the day.
Because everybody I talked to in these classes would tell me, oh my god, I have orgo tomorrow, or I have chemistry tomorrow. And I'm so tired. I gotta wake up and get my coffee and go. And then we wake up, dude. During the fraternity process, I'd sleep literally, Chuck, 1 to 2 hours. That's insane. I'd literally sleep 1 to 2 hours.
Dude, I cannot do that. And I don't know how you did that.
I was literally dying that entire time. I remember I'd be sick all the time. I was literally just
pledging's no joke.
But I'd back then I used to listen to music I listened to consuming music, so much motivation, so much power, and I'd come in and literally just die. And then after that, I'd come into my class and I'm like, all right, I'm dead, but at least I have a little head start on everyone around me, So that's how it made me feel. But it's that idea of just coming in, you just grind your ass off to do something to start your day, and at least put effort into your day. I
will say this, dude. Like a lot of guys who are creating content, like both of you guys posting the stuff, especially in the gym. I will say this about our generation. Yeah, dude, you're good. Our generation, I feel like, has had almost kind of like a resurgence, at least in you see all these fitness influencer guys, whether it be Sam Sulek, not promoting steroids, obviously, but guys I really like Alex Eubank, he's for the Lord, I really like his content, and you've seen that, man, a lot of these, people are pushing the gym now more and more, getting to the gym. It's like Brad Carey, the Kick the Sheets guy, he's always get shit done, man, and it's tough, especially when you get into the working world, because one of the things I've noticed is now I just don't feel physically drained, I feel mentally, and that can affect the whole body, because you're sitting there looking at a screen all day. Dude, and this is I'm going to go on a tangent here. I always thought it was so funny how people got fat in college. You see a guy or a girl who just
freshman 15?
Yeah, dude, because especially at a big school like Maryland, dude. Think about I would walk minimum 10,000 steps a day because you're walking to all your classes, unless you're an athlete or whatever, you got your scooter and whatever, and that, which I'll never forget. I remember this girl gave me her Vio account that had $350 in it. So dude, there was a period of time, and she took it away because I don't know, she knows who you are. I'm sorry. I hope we're all good, but basically, dude. I spent $200 with that thing, man. Dude, I would just be scootering to class every day. But that's the thing. It's it really you can lose weight. I feel like you should lose weight in college if you're going to the gym, if you're walking to your classes. I feel like the average college student's pretty active. So I don't know, man. I don't really have sympathy out there for it. It's there's ways to just get in the gym. Nowadays our generation too, it's about all the inclusivity, body positivity. I think that's a bunch of bullshit, dude. I think that's honestly poison. It's poison to the mind. Think about that. Think about I'm okay with complacency, man. And it's tough. You don't want to ever be complacent. You should be doing something every day, even if it's just a micro thing to try to be getting yourself better. Dude.
Little habits.
Little habits, bro. And habits are everything, dude. It's like the gladiator. What we do now will echo for eternity, dude. And it's the truth. But yeah, man, it's, for me, the gym is an integral part of my life. It's really my release. Yesterday, I literally, after, working, just did a freaking 3-mile run. Felt great. And it was after work, you're tired, you don't want to, but I'll tell you, dude, those little ginger boost shots, I don't know if you ever had them from Whole Foods. They help out big time too. I just rip one of those, dude. And I'm I'm ready to go. Yeah. A little cayenne pepper, all that.
Dude, anything that can help you, man. Those little things. But yeah, you were talking about a lot of people are in decent shape, but I feel also a lot of kids in college, they just get comfortable doing the bare minimum. They think that's fine.
That was
and it's a group think mentality because everybody's doing the bare minimum. But then they see some kid who's like, maybe he's lifting 5 times a week, he's doing a couple runs, and to them that's outlandish and like some outlier. But I mean, it's good, but at the same time, it's not insane.
Dude, that's that's
stuff
it's not.
Everybody should be doing.
Not
We all should
everybody.
be working out or getting 10,000 steps or hitting the gym a couple times a week or going for a
doing
swim,
some
bike ride, whatever,
crunches.
man.
Swimming, dude. You know I swam for 10 years.
I did not know that.
Yeah, dude, I was really good. I was an all-conference swimmer my freshman year at Curly, dude. I was in the 50
So many
freestyle.
crazy things, man.
I've done a lot of stuff, man. It was cool. Swimming, that to me is the best.
Very therapeutic.
Oh my gosh.
And humbling. So
Dude,
humbling.
I remember, dude, when I was swimming my first 2 years on varsity at Curly, I mean, because I swam like for a club, Valley Brook Country Club. I did summer swim, all that. And dude, don't get me wrong, I was a sprinter. Hold on. You watch me in the water, I'm like freaking, there wasn't a lot of technique. I was a butterflyer, all that stuff. But dude, like, I mean, we would swim like 35, 400, 4,000 yards of practice. I'd be getting out of the pool like,
Dude, that shit's no joke.
like eye bags. I mean, God, dude, I remember like after swim practice, my mom used to come with a freaking little lunchbox full of stuff. I'm like, and you're like, how was it? I was like, terrible. She's like, I brought you your food. I'm like, thank you. Like, just stuff my face with whatever she freaking, because you lose so much weight.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
you can eat anything.
It's the
when
best
you're
shape
doing
you'll be
that.
in, too, dude. Seriously. Like, you can eat, literally, like you said, eat anything you want.
Yeah.
Anything. I mean,
That's
a
why
lot
I
of
do so
carbs.
much cardio these days.
I mean, dude, you look at guys like Michael Phelps, dude. Guys literally built like a freaking
Yeah.
he's like built
Super back, man.
super back, dude. It's like nuts. Like the guy's got a wingspan, like freaking, like I mean, it's like these guys are just built for it. But yeah, man, yeah. So, yeah, dude, the gym, it's a must. So
It's a must, man. Just do something. It literally is like you do that because I looked at my step count for the last year. I've been getting 10,000 a day. For the last entire year, it's averaged every single day, and I'm like, literally just me walking around campus.
Yeah,
because
dude.
I like to walk. I like to just go around and
walked
walk.
a lot.
I walked a lot, man.
dude, during like the midday at work, just get up out of your desk, go walk around whatever complex or your office building or whatever, dude. Like it's very simple. You know what I mean? Just simple stuff to stay active and fit. One of the things I think, honestly, that I really got put onto too, especially like honestly from Chase, from Dionisio and his videos, and really I've seen just on social media in general, is like the processed foods. Like fast food, all that stuff, how actually horrible it is for you. Like, dude, ever since I switched my diet to simply just like, and my mom will always get on me about it. God bless her heart. She cares for me so much. But it's like, with, I love eggs. Eggs, like literally, I think like the whole, like the matrix against eggs.
Don't
man.
fall into
Like,
that propaganda. They're
Yeah.
like, I saw some person like commenting on someone's
I eat
video,
like 10, 20
oh
eggs
my
a
god,
day.
you're eating all those egg yolks. Your
Yeah.
cholesterol's gonna be out
Your
the moon.
cholesterol's gonna be out of your
And then the
freaking-
guy's like, oh yeah, really? Look at me.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Look at you, dude. It's like eggs,
What about
steak,
cholesterol?
spinach. I mean, dude, like, excuse me. Sorry. Chicken, rice. I mean, literally, dude, when I was cutting, like really cutting, when I first came into Maryland, because I wanted to look, really fit. I was always bulking. I was always trying to, I mean, my heaviest, I think I was like 240. Like, when I was like, I was pretty heavy because it was always just baseball, being a catcher. Just want more size, more strength. So, dude, like, I literally ate nothing but chicken, rice, and egg whites. It was like egg whites in the morning, chicken and rice for, lunch, or maybe tuna. And then at the night, it would just be like, yeah, more egg whites. It was just all I ate, dude. It was just protein overload, dude. That's all it is,
Yeah, you just eat protein, dude. Like, me recently, I've been doing 1 meal a day. I don't know if you've seen, but
Yeah, that's
I've been doing 1 meal a day, for probably like a month now.
But they're huge.
They're huge. But the thing is, dude,
yeah.
I realized if you just do meat, you will. It's literally, if you literally just eat meat, like you eat meat, eat protein, you eat different versions of protein.
Yeah, dude.
But
bison,
you will lose
elk, deer,
you will lose
whatever.
so much weight because I'll get full on. Okay, so this is weird. It's weird.
Have you ever tried like a carnivore diet before?
That's kind of what I'm gonna go into.
How's that going?
So I started going to carnivore maybe about a week ago. I was playing with it. So the problem with me is like I know I'll lose so much weight. Like I'll probably get down to like 150.
Got a great
and
metabolism.
I don't want to get down to 150.
Look at this guy.
I'm like 170 and I'm lean. I don't want to get down to 150. I'm gonna literally look at a piece of paper. I'm gonna look like one of those freaks. So I'm like, you know what?
Like
I'll stay around
leg,
170.
dude. Bones are just like.
But yeah,
showing.
it's because it's weird how your body works with the chemicals in food. Like you can eat, if I eat meat alone to get full, I'll get full with just meat. But the second you touch a carbohydrate, the second you touch like a vegetable even or a fruit, your fullness like resets.
It does. Yeah.
It's weird. It's like you can reset and you can eat. I'm not eating 1,000 calories, but I would have stopped 1,000 calories ago if I just ate meat. So I was doing just carnivore for like a couple days, but today I did broccoli and one vegetable. I'm keeping it minimal. I'm gonna do one simple vegetable when I do these things, but it's because like I literally my taste palate will limit the amount of food I can put in. If I'm just eating chicken and beef, I'll literally time out so fast.
Yeah. Dude, like, I can't eat enough. I gotta commend both of you guys, just like again for like your discipline. It's really inspiring, dude. Like I said at his grad party, man. Like guys like you, like seriously, like, and this is not even trying to glaze. Like actually, I'm very grateful for having people like you in my life because you keep me more accountable, even if it's not like direct. Subconsciously, I mean, it's great, dude. You set the standard. I mean, it's awesome.
So that's what we tried to do for sure,
Dude, yeah, I think a lot too. Really, what I've kind of my whole perspective on life. It's like you don't really have many days here, so you got to maximize every single day you have. And there's been times where kind of recently I've been going through some things where I've just been really down, and I find myself in just like, I mean, again, I got to shout out Mama Jewel. She's been my rock, and my dad, man, too, just like snapped me out of it. But, a while ago. One of the things that really and still affects me very much to this day and will affect me for the rest of my life that really made me realize how precious life was when Zad died.
I was literally about to ask you, I wanted to actually ask you about this during the spot. I was literally thinking about it. I was like, I want to ask you like your thoughts on that and just talk about how that made you feel.
Yeah, dude, so probably one of the worst. I've actually had seen a lot of people die young. I've had an ex-girlfriend who passed away in a car accident very young. I had a really good friend of mine from back home whose brother was taken brutally at 17 years old, which death is inevitable. It's all coming for us one way or another. We're all going to have to face the Lord someday. But, seeing it at such a young age is something I've seen a lot. And I'll never forget that day, man, because, and it's weirdly enough, because there's like certain times when I've gotten phone calls where stuff, you kind of just get that premonition, right? Like something is not okay. Recently, you called me about something, which we won't talk about that on here, but, that was, a really sad thing as well, too. But I remember I was watching the Ravens-Eagles game, and it was just like your typical Sunday. I love Sundays with my parents, man. Sunday football, we have, my dad would make like a spread, and we'll just hang out, and just, he's a big Steelers fan, a big Ravens fan. Just watch the games, man, whatever. And, obviously, I'll get more into my betting stuff here in a little bit, but, you got some money on the game, so, it makes it a little more fun to watch. And I get a call from one of my fraternity brothers, Josh, Henrietta. And, usually when I get a call from him or like Maggio or, those guys, it's usually some type of joke, just messing around. And then, obviously he called me and broke the news. And it's like one of those moments where it's like you don't think it's like real because and it's so like crazy because that weekend beforehand, I was actually up in Westfield where he's from. My Uncle Will lives up there. So I was up there. Literally, we were up there just for the weekend. We went out in like New York City with my cousins, went out to like a nice restaurant, got some food, and I asked Zad, like, hey man, you want to hang out? Like, and I mean, Zad was just like the best guy ever, man. One of those guys that literally just, would always go with the flow, super kind, not exactly a very outgoing guy per se, but dude, when you got him going, man, like, you could talk all night. And I was just like, hey man, you want to come up? And he told me that weekend, like, he was heading down to Charlotte to see the Panthers play the Buccaneers and whatever. And, when Henrietta broke the news, man, it was just like one of those things that hit me like a freight train. I was crying in my room for days. It's tough, especially the way he went, it was, it was very avoidable. But in a sense, like, it kind of really made me realize, like, and it's just one of those things, man, I was just like, dang. Because, I mean, there was some behaviors in college that I had, and I know a bunch of other guys that had the same, that any one of us probably, especially, and that's just in Greek life in general, it's living life on the edge a lot, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of alcohol involved, there's a lot of stuff that people chase, and, really at any second, something could go wrong, and then you're on national news. So for it to be Zad of all people, who was not one of those guys, even in the slightest, was really just something for me that just woke up, like, it was like almost a veil had been lifted. I relied on God very heavily during those times. And I just really said to myself, like, man, like, dude, like, life is really just so short. In the blink of an eye, you're crossing a road, and then almost like in the poof of an instance. And the sad things that happens every day. My dad always, one of the things that he said was really hit him hard was when he buried when my mother passed away, or not my mother, his grandmother, who I never met. She actually died right before I was born. Died, and it was like, well, the world just keeps spinning, man. It happens every day. And that's the thing that's like really hard to think about. Obviously, I think about recently, Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, dude, that guy freaking lived.
Hulk Hogan, man.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan. These guys who, they seem like immortal. And I mean, Ozzy, I mean, shoot, all the stuff that he was doing, and he somehow lived to be 76 is a miracle in itself.
Hulk too, man.
And Hulk too. Obviously, the WWE, the hey brother steroids. I love both those guys, man. Ozzy, huge musical influence. I love WWE, Hulk Hogan. I mean, God bless his heart, But then that's honestly what kind of made me start, and this is like a weird thing. You know, and in the fall, I, you know, made a lot of money doing sports betting, and then I lost it all. But it made me realize, like, dude, like, being young now is about taking risks, right? It's about gambling on yourself a little. You're talking about you with your day trading, you know, obviously, you know, with, you know, going to the gym or, you know, anything, whether it be a faith, you know, a finance goal, anything, you know, just literally anything. And then I started, you know, with my job, I was, you know, making, you know, I had a, you know, pretty decent, okay bankroll to begin with for a guy who just fresh out of college working. And then I was like, dude, I want to, like, you know, this is my time to shine, you know, I mean, I really like sports, and then, dude, I started putting a bunch of money on, you know, sports games. It's weird how it kind of segues, right? This, you know, like, you know, going from Zad's funeral, I was like, dude, like, I'm going to do everything in my life for him moving forward because he couldn't do it. You know what I mean? That was the thing. I'm going to always keep him in the back of my mind. I'm always going to have that as my motivator. And it's just like, you know, one of those things I still think about him every single day. And yeah, man, then I still, you know, it was one of those things where it was just like, dude, I started, like, you know, taking life a little more seriously, but also there was the struggle that came along. It was like, why him? You know, why? You know, I mean, just such a great guy. I mean, and it's sad because, you know, his memory, you know, is one of those things where it's like, you know, I mean, I think, so destined for greatness. I mean, he was working as an operations analyst for a company called Jeffries. Great company. You know, he was in the finance world. You know, he was definitely going to make a lot of money. Sharp as a freaking, like, tack, man. I mean, he was a smart kid, you know, and not one of those guys that was overtly smart, but dude, Zad was also just the guy, he was your brother's keeper, man. I mean, that guy, literally, there was so many instances of him being selfless and taking care of guys, you know, when they were down. You know, if someone had a little too much to drink at a party, you know, he was the type of guy that would be literally taking care of them. I mean, that's just who he was. So for me, I was like, you know what, this is an external motivation that, because he can't live his life, I'm going to live mine to the fullest. And so, yeah, man, I started, you know, kind of taking some risks with my money. And then in 3 months, I turned a bankroll of about $3,000 into $100,000, which was like pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then it was tough, you know, during that point in time. And at this point now, I've really kind of stopped posting on Electric Champion. I'm not gonna lie, I love the content creation aspect of things, but it is a grind. I think people underestimate,
it's a grind, man.
Like how, like, it is, dude. Seriously, all those guys like Ashton Hall, all those guys, like, my hat goes off to them because that stuff is not easy. Not only is one, like, if you're not exactly a person who's very outgoing and does, and, you know, I mean, to begin with, right? If you care a little too much, because we all subconsciously care what people think. Let's be real. Like, we all do.
100%.
You know, whether it be, you know, guy, girl, mom, dad, whatever. But, dude, it was just like, it was getting tough because, you know, that was the thing. I was, you know, and it humbled me very quickly because, you know, one of the things it was like, and this is where kind of ties in with faith too. You know, because I gave my life to Christ. There's not many people publicly know that. Literally right after college. Like literally after that ended, because I was so lost. I was scared with the world, and I knew that certain things I was doing in my life were not good for me at all. And it's one of those things where I needed some guidance, right? And then I never really knew. I grew up Catholic my whole life, and I made a lot of money. And then, dude, it was like, you know, I was doing some crazy stuff, like, you know, obviously doing bottle service in, you know, DC, it's dropping thousands of dollars a night. You know, paying for everybody, which I love. You know, I love providing, going down to Miami, literally going on a yacht, like renting out a yacht for a day, you know, paying money for that, and just doing all this stuff, man, that you think is going to fulfill you. And it just doesn't. It's really empty, you know, a lot of it. And it's still fun, you know, I love the social aspect of things, all that, but, you know, one of those things I learned with this is, like, I made a lot of money very quickly. I put a bunch of it away, and I haven't really been betting at all because it is a roller coaster. And I would never, if you're going to throw money, you better be prepared to lose big if you're going to bet big, because it is just, it really, truly, you never know. And
same thing with the stock market too.
Same thing with the stock market.
Man.
Yeah, you just don't.
You
got to be ready to lose, and that's life, man. Like something, man. God, it's like, you know. And that was the thing where I just went back to kind of like, you know, this goes back to the thing being humbled. It was like, you know, I think it was kind of like God during that time period of my life where I was just realizing, you know, waking up hungover, you know, from, you know, sipping bottles and doing all that stuff, and I just realized, like, man, like, this is such a superficial world, man. Like seeing people, like, you know, it's like in these clubs down in Miami, like these 50, 60-year-olds, you probably have a wife and kids in here, you know, going into the back room, right, with whatever freaking dancers or strippers were there. Like, you know, and doing these things where it's like, it appeals good to the carnal, right? But then, like, you realize, man, just how superficial it is. And that's how our generation, I feel like, is, man. It's very superficial. Like at service level, I mean, like we were talking about, people really don't want to peel back the layers of the onion. They really just...
they're scared
It's always about, like, followers, status, looks, money. And it's tough because we all get caught up in it, right? And I mean, that can be a great motivation. It can be a motivation for you to get in the gym if you want to look better, if you want to make more money. But, you know, And I was like, I really feel like at the time I kind of thought more of myself because of it, and then it kind of came crumbling down a little bit. I've lost a lot since then. Baseball has kind of, taken its, reins over. It's a tough game to bet on. So, football season, I'll probably be, once I get a bankroll back, I'll probably be back again. And then, obviously I started posting because someone was like, dude, you need to start selling your picks. And that really, honestly, wasn't even like working because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, the house always wins,
Yeah.
But what I guess this all kind of circles back to at the end of the day, man, is like God will humble you if you get too proud, man. And that's the thing in life, Christ suffered and died on a cross for us, right? Like, and then you think about life, like what is life majority, especially when you kind of accept God into your life, it's suffering, right? You got that physique, not because of the fact that you were born with great genetics. You got it because you worked your freaking ass off. There's times in the gyms, like same with you, dude. Like, when you're in the gym, like there's times when you're just hustling, grinding, the last rep where you're freaking clenching your teeth and you're like, this sucks. Like, why did I do this? The self-doubt. People, it's like, I always love that image of like the iceberg where it's like what people see and then the stuff underneath that people don't see, man.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I feel like a lot of people, that's the thing with our world. A lot of people, everybody's got those demons, those things that they hide deep down, man, that like, you got to bring into the light. You got to bring it to God, and it's helped out a lot with that, man. That's the thing. It's like, in life, I'm reading a book right now called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, which I would absolutely highly recommend. And the book it's like a life improvement book, but basically the general thing of the book, it talks about obviously like how to basically maximize your potential in life, your purpose, controlling the appetites of life, the things that'll pull you away from your goal. We talk about this like, the Bible, we've talked about this like lust, envy, sloth, greed, all these different things, which as humans, we're literally all susceptible to.
Yep.
There's nobody that's holier than thou. Nobody. I'm far from it. Everybody's far from it. But it talks about this concept, and it's very interesting. I would highly recommend it. Napoleon Hill, who is like the author in this book, has like a conversation with the devil, essentially. And it's literally like, I could show you it. You can look it up. And it's basically how he, gets people off the path, right? And he's like talking to the devil and everything. And one of the things it talks about, the devil says, and he talks about all these things, how he tricks humans, right, into like, obviously, getting off their path. Drifting is like the term that he uses, whether that be through, contentment, certain things like cigarettes, right, like, alcoholism, all this different stuff. But the one thing he said about, like, Napoleon Hill asked the devil is, what does someone have to do to get a lot? And the devil responds, you have to give a lot. And that's the thing. It's like the person that attains much has to give a lot. So like it's like anything when you're starting a business, whether you're in sales, which is what I'm my career path. You got to be able to provide something that's going to be of value to people. And a lot of people talk about this. Like you see guys like Alex Eubank, talk about this. You see guys like I've seen plenty of other. I can't really pick names off the top of my head, but I've seen plenty of guys, especially in like different like sales videos of people handling objections. It's like, there's a cost with everything in life, with whether it be a program, whether it be like, I don't know, man, like, anything, to any type of planning, or any type of, program to do. And it's like, you got to make sure that you're providing a good service to someone. If you want to expect to obtain much, right, whether that be financially, family-wise, you got to be willing to give a lot of yourself.
Yeah.
And it all ties back in with the suffering of Christ on the cross, man. It's great. A lot of people, one of my, really, I got to give him a shout, Ryan Shea. Changed my whole life, man. He, guy I used to play ball with back in the day. He went to Liberty University. And he ended up he's a talking so much. He's a pastor now. And he, really kind of, opened my eyes to so much with Jesus and God. And there's a lot of things that I don't do that I used to do. I used to smoke a lot of weed. I used to smoke pot all the time. There was literally times I was doing lifts just stoned out of my mind.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, and it was like something I needed. I gave that up completely. Been pretty much cold turkey with that.
Great,
there's other things too. It's like, there's other things, whether that, and there's obviously the struggles, which, I won't go into. There's other things like, whether it was, one of the big things for me was, very real with it was pornography, and that's something that still is something that I still struggle with occasionally. Most people, I feel like millions of men, bro, and it was something that I just looked at it a completely different way, all that stuff. But he said something to me that really freaking stuck with me. It was like, what do you think the Bible is? Do you think it's a cage of rules, or do you think it's seriously a guide to make your life better? And when he said that to me, I was like, You think about it, like, what are the 10 Commandments? Are they like, you break my laws, like, I'm going to look down on you? No. Like, Jesus is your biggest advocate. That's one of the things. It changed my whole perspective because, like, it's really just a guide to make your life live a purposeful life. And don't get me wrong, man, there's nothing wrong, like, with doing, stuff. I think anything in moderation is okay, right? Because at the end of the day, listen, like there's guys like, think about like in the fitness world, dude, not even like at a drinking or like a going out or anything. Look at these guys that are on so much freaking gear.
The fitness world is one of the fakest industries in the world.
Right,
it's so fake, and people put up these facades online, and people actually believe them. Dude. Kids believe them, like, oh, this is how this guy lives. When in reality, he's doing coke in the back room, but he's a Christian and jacked and online.
Yes, and everybody, it's utopia, and there's none. My father, God bless my dad, and he's always said this to me since I was growing up. There's no utopia in life, but there's three things that matter, right? It's how you treat people, how you treat the ones you love, and how you present yourself to others. Reputation is freaking everything, man. Everything. My boy Jordy, one of my really good friends, Jordy, said this to me too. Your reputation is everything. And it's like people will find out, man. There's a verse in the Bible actually about that. All will be brought into the light. All will be brought into the light. There's really, and that's why I try to be as open as I possibly can be with everything that I've been through in my life, the stuff that I do, and I feel like that's why people take me, because I'm pretty genuine. I try to be raw, man.
See, that's what I wanted to say is, like, as a Christian and as, like, a believer in God, me and you and, Marco as well, is, like, you have so much humility, which I respect that so much, because Christ is all about humility, but you're very open, and you say it, like, what you're going through, and you own it, and that's so beautiful, because a lot of people are so prideful that they can't even name one mistake. They don't even want to peel back that. They don't even want to peel back that thing at all to name something that they're facing. But you say so much. I mean, dude, and you've always done it, and I respect that so much, and that's a light, man. That draws me in, and other people too, I'm sure.
Dude, I feel like, man, you just gotta be out there. It's like, people. I feel like. Most people, if you actually have a mind of your own, you can think. People can smell BS from a mile away. It reeks like a freaking bad stand. It reeks like a bad cologne, man. Yeah, like
it does. Yeah, you can
smell. 100%. And I know a lot of people that are like that, man. It's like the two-facedness, and it's tough because at the end of the day, we're all just trying to figure it out. Like one of my favorite songs ever written. Which we played when we put my grandfather's ashes into the ocean in Fort Lauderdale, was a song called "Dust in the Wind" by Kansas.
Oh, I love that song.
It's a beautiful tune, and the song is very biblical because it talks about how we are all just dust in the wind. We're just dust in the wind, man. It's like same old song, just a drop of water in an endless sea. All we do crumbles to the ground, though we refuse to see. Poetry. And it talks about it, man. It's like, that's all we are is dust. We are all just, literally made by God from the dust. Like we're all, we're not God. We're all weak in some form. Every single person has a weakness, right? Even the most freaking cut, freaking shredded to the bone.
King David in the Bible.
The mightiest
man.
The mightiest, there's always, everybody, is fallible in some way. So, I think the biggest thing is with me, I guess, this conversation has gone so many different ways. Is ever since I've left college, I've definitely gotten deeper into my faith. I've leaned on God for a lot. I've been angry at God a lot of times. I'm questioning God, like, why did this happen? Why did this? But I think it ultimately leads you to your purpose and where you're supposed to be. And that's the beauty of it, man. It's like those times, I remember a year ago today, actually, literally, I remember one of the worst days of my life. We were about to go down to one of my very good family friends' weddings, and I got fired from my job at Aerotech because I was an idiot. I was showing up late too many times, and they fired me, and I was so upset. I thought my life was over. And I look back on that, and I'm like, dude, then I got this job with IS2. I had a great boss, Steve Belbont. He was just absolutely unbelievable. And obviously we just parted ways recently. It's nothing with him. He was great, and I found him. It's like, I laugh. I look back and I laugh. You know what I mean? It's like, it's those type of things, man. It's like the struggle brings success, man. It's like, and you wouldn't enjoy it as much if you were just like, all the time, at the top, just, flexing your biceps, man. That's the beauty of it, man. I've always felt like I was the underdog in a lot of ways. I always felt that way in sports. I always just had that, and then I had that mindset, you know what I mean? And that's just kind of Baltimore, you know what I mean? I'm kidding, though. But what was it? God, we always the underdog. I don't even know. Someone said that. But yeah, man. So it's like, that's what makes life worth living. It's tough because you would never appreciate the high moments. My cousin Jake is a very, very, very successful man. He lives in Texas. My Texas family does very well. But there was points, man, he always talked to me about how he had nothing at one point. He had to work his freaking tail off, man. That's what makes it so much sweeter now, because now, he's the provider in a lot of ways, and he can just sit there and, enjoy the fruits of his labor. And that's what it is, man. You just don't appreciate it as much if you don't put in the work, man. I feel like that's like in the NFL, why the Super Bowl was like, or you win a World Series, whatever, in jiu-jitsu or UFC, you win a belt, because it's like people just don't see the sacrifice. And I've seen guys, man, in my baseball career on his own who have had all the talent in the world, but we're talking about pride. just didn't want to put in the work, didn't want to get down there,
Yeah,
like, you know,
think
just
they're too
lazy.
good for
Think
it.
they're too good for it. And it's crazy, man, because it just, what goes around comes back around. So, yeah, man. So, and again, like going back to like with the betting thing, I mean, that's something that's a grind in itself, you know. I wouldn't recommend it, honestly. If you have the bankroll, absolutely, you got to bet big to win big. But, you know, I kind of stopped posting too because I want to find, if I'm going to start posting again, I want it to be something a little more meaningful. You know what I mean? I feel like, honestly, you know, I mean, it's fun posting these videos. I'm a pretty funny guy, so I like doing the stuff like I would do in my videos to make it funny. I think in one of my videos, I put the intro, it was like Trump saying, you're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning, you know. But it's like, you know, at the end of the day, promoting like gambling and stuff like that, you know, obviously it's legal, sports betting. It's like, you know, I don't want to steer people in the wrong direction. So that's kind of why I stopped with that stuff.
You know what I'm thinking too is like even Togi, who's like known for gambling and betting. I've even seen his content turn a lot towards giving back. Giving so much money.
That's why I want to be rich, dude. Is literally I want to just be able to, and that's like when I was doing the bottle service stuff. And maybe in a sense it wasn't, my heart was in the right place, but it was like I wanted to provide for others. I love that, dude. I love.
As men, we want to provide.
Bro.
You want to take care of your family.
Bro, isn't that like something that sticks with you, man? I'll never forget. You know, there's times
that's the danger where men are being broken today in society, and they're being taught, you don't have to provide.
Yeah, you don't.
That's how society is.
It's very biblical in a sense. You know, you see like, there's the whole, you know, quote unquote girl boss stuff nowadays. And don't get me wrong, dude. I love a woman who, you know, goes out, works, you know, does what she needs to do, and, you know, can be a breadwinner. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But, you know, you can't get complacent in your role as a man. You know, at the end of the day, you're supposed to be the one that is the centerpiece of the family. You're the shield that is protecting your family. You're the one that is giving them.
You have to be that fire, man, because your family's going to depend on you one day. Look at Poppy.
Yeah,
such an example, dude. That guy grinds. And
your dad's freaking awesome, dude. You know what's crazy is in my dad's older age too. He's gotten way more. And I think honestly it was because of, you know, me and my sister. Anna's a very motivated individual as well. She's gonna do great things. But, you know, we just love the gym. You know, it's a very big part of our lives, you know, looking good, presenting well, and just feeling good. And, dude, my mom and my dad, man, hats off to them. My dad, you know, they'll go to the gym before work in the morning. Like, my dad will go, even if it's just him running a mile on the elliptical or whatever.
Having parents like that is huge, because my dad and my mom, too, they've been going to the gym.
Eating good, you know, it's just like getting, you know, better foods. It's like a literal, like, domino effect. It's just better for life overall.
And that's the beautiful thing you're doing with Poppy right now,
my dad is big. And I think, man, I come back to the self-sacrifice idea. You know, this is how I've seen it, man. A lot, you know, because, you know, man, I'm not. If you look at people on social media, it's funny because I had so many people reach out to me and tell me, like, you know, Mark, you should do this and be successful on social media. Like, dude, your physique's too good. You should be successful.
I think, like, dude, I said that to you. I was like, dude, you should sell a program or something like that. Because you do look, I mean, like, you do have the Zeke.
But it's funny to me because a lot of people give me suggestions, you know, and they tell me, like, do these things. And those people are like, you know, because my friends, they're doing this, and, you know, they're blowing up, and, you know, I give it a try because I'm always open to try these new ideas, so I try these new things out, and, you know, I don't have success doing them. And it's funny because I've been doing this now for 5 months, and I used to make TikToks, and I used to be TikTok famous, you know, that background I have. So, you know, maybe I thought it was going to come in a little easier, and it hasn't. And, you know, some days I'm like, man, you know, I just shouldn't post today because there's no real value, you know, it's not going to blow up. You know, I think these thoughts to myself, and I kind of believe it because it hasn't blown up. It's
there's little, and that dude in the book Outwitting the Devil, they talk so much about the devil is not like a actual literal, you know, pitchfork being, right? Like Lucifer. They talk about just like the dark negative energy. There's negative thoughts that are just naturally in your mind, and your mind is freaking powerful, bro. And it's like those little things, man. Those little urges. Oh man, like you don't need to post today, or oh man, you just do this. It's not gonna hurt. You know, this not gonna kill you.
And not to be dark and negative, but I heard this recently. The devil is a roaring lion that never sleeps.
Never sleeps.
He's always hungry.
Always hungry.
24/7. He's waiting and looking for you to slip up. He's not gonna ever put the handcuffs on you, but he'll lead you towards putting the handcuffs on yourself.
Yeah.
But you always have the free will, but he'll lead you towards that.
Yeah.
But what are you saying, though?
Yeah. So
sorry,
no, it's fine. These are all good points in regard to honestly where I'm kind of leading with this. So, you know, I have those days, man. I have those days where I'm like, you know, maybe I shouldn't post, but I had a couple people reach out to me. Maybe let's say 5 people a week, maybe 10 people reach out. Man, this is motivational. You guys are doing good. Like, keep it up. You're pushing me. You're motivating me, man. Keep up the content. I've had a couple people reach out, man. Like right now, I'm in a messy situation. You're really motivating me. That at least you're doing something. You know, at least you're trying to do something. And to me, it's like, it's back to self-sacrifice, man, because it can't just be about me while I'm making this content anyway. I'm kind of making it to help other people out, man.
And dude, I think you are, dude. I mean, like I've seen your videos, dude. I mean, like, I mean, if I'm a guy like who's looking to get into the gym, right, or maybe has been feeling bad about myself, or I want to lose weight, or whatever, and I just see like someone's content like you, I mean, dude, there's not much there that is like that's like gonna. I mean, it's all great stuff.
Yeah,
there's not anything there that's like negative or like gonna push people away. It's all stuff I think that's gonna motivate people, uplift people more than anything.
And then man, it's like if you're doing it. You can't do it for the wrong purpose, man. It came to me at the end of the day, like, I have so much experience and so much knowledge in the gym at such a young age, like, I almost have a duty to start to give back.
Yeah, and what's the crazy thing? We getting back into, like, the devil started, like, a power part of things, man. Just think about, like, the people that are successful in this world, right? Think about, like, these OnlyFans people that are making millions a month.
Or even the guys that own the OnlyFans.
Yeah, or the guys that own the OnlyFans. You see these guys, I mean, these rappers out here who rap. I mean, I really, and music's a big part of my life, obviously, the guitar and everything, and that's maybe why I gravitate so much more towards like the older type of stuff, especially like Metallica, because Metallica has some very deep lyrics, right? And a lot of nowadays, you see these rappers talking about killing people.
It's not poetry.
It's
like
not.
Real poetry,
it's not at all. And it's just it's. You see how in life, it's like, I mean, you never should, I mean, in what you're doing, man, it's like, obviously, you're trying to figure out, obviously you want to make money off this in the long run of things.
Yeah.
I think doing it for the right reasons is the best. I mean,
best
what you're doing.
And those are the guys that last.
Yes.
They don't burn out.
I mean, do you think about, the people, like, what does the world glorify, right? Like, I mean, like, the OnlyFans stuff. These girls are rich buying, all this stuff. I mean, what are you doing? You're selling your body. You know what I mean? Like, other stuff, man. It's like, freaking, what else? I mean, like, there's plenty of other, obviously, bad things that are out there. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm not, the biggest fan of rave culture. You know what I mean? I do like EDM. I'm not going to hate on it. I love Costa. I'm so happy for his career. He keeps on taking off because, I mean, Costa's the boy. But you think about it, I went to an EDM festival. I went to that Project Glow thing. And, I mean, dude, I felt like, I was in Zombieland out there. I feel like it was just around a bunch of really lost people trying to figure out a place to fit in because everybody's just on, like, these drugs and all this stuff. And, it's like one of those things where it's like, I mean, a lot of these EDM artists who are promoting that, they're rich. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is a lot of the bads, people who are not necessarily doing like the good things, right? I used to be in healthcare doing like staffing, obviously recently that ended, but placing nurses, saving people's lives, doctors, right? Or people like literally that are like yourself who are making content out there trying to help people better themselves. But it's like, you got to grind a little more. So like, there is two paths you can take, man. Like it's what the Bible talks about, the narrow road in a sense. I look at it that way. You can take that, wide road that looks very pleasing, right? Like, oh, let me just start doing this. Like, I mean, there's a guy, Joshua Broome, who, I don't know, like he's like an ex-porn star now turned pastor who talks so much about how when he was like his most financially successful, he was like at the top of the porn industry, was the lowest he ever felt in his life. He didn't feel like he had a soul.
I've seen a girl too that made a transformation.
Yeah.
Even that guy Boom Gang, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, dude, Holy Gabbana. Like, it's
yeah.
crazy. You see these guys, it's like, and it's...
You've seen before and their faces are just filled with darkness. They have bags under the eyes. They look so just dead inside. But then their transformation after they're like uplifted with like this light. It's like they're glowing.
One of the best things, dude, yes. One of the best things I ever heard, man, was money doesn't bring happiness. It just brings options and experiences.
That's good. Yeah.
That's like the best part about it, man. It's like, money at the end of the day, like money like will make you feel good, right? I mean, if you have a lot of it, trust me, I've done some cool things. Like, it's great. But at the end of the day, like there's so many rich people that are just sad. I mean, like going back into it, I'd love to, talk more about rock and roll here and stuff. It's like, I'm so invested in like, obviously things like the 27 Club, like under like Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, guys like this, right? These guys who die. So Lane Staley is a perfect example. He was the frontman for Alice in Chains.
Yeah, great.
Chester Bennington, I love Alice in Chains, man. Chester Bennington, Linkin Park, dude. These guys, like when you read like their lyrics, come from such a Kurt Cobain, dude, just such a broken place. And it's like, you would think, oh my God, you're a rock star. Your music is getting sang by millions of people. If you look at any band, dude, right, there's been no band where it's just, really, there's very few where, like, especially these, like, I'm talking about, like, the wildly successful ones, like, all these frontmen. Like, I always go back, James Hetfield from Metallica is one of my absolute favorite artists ever. I love this guy. I think that literally, like, I mean, the place that he writes from is just, like, it's so genuine. Basically, he grew up, his mom was a Christian Scientist, dad split at a young age. His mom had cancer, and because of Christian Scientist, which is it's a farce, by the way. It's a complete cult. Like, they didn't believe in medicine because God would heal them, right? She could have gotten treated and lived, and she ended up dying because of cancer. Yeah. And when he was, I think, 13, 14 years old, right? Buddy was like basically an orphan, right? His dad like came around when Metallica was like hitting it off, and he struggled so much like alcoholism throughout, in and out of rehab, even in his old age now. But the guy's like killing it now. Metallica just released an album. They're touring. I just saw him live in DC. It was great, and he just talks so much about just like how broken, like, he really was inside, and like, and everything. And, how, for him, it was like, it was really hard to just get like pulled out of that, and you think like, oh, like, this rock star, man, you got people singing your songs, Enter Sandman, throwing up the freaking horns at the concert, you got these people who love you. But it's just like, you don't have it all together at all. And you have all this money. I mean, like, his net worth is like, I think $300-400 million, and at the time, obviously it was probably even, back in those days when things wasn't, as expensive now, it's probably even more astronomical. You have so much wealth, you have all this fame. It's like, it just doesn't satisfy. You know what I mean? It's like, it really comes down to, the fact, like, like these rock stars, it's like, on paper, we talk about the superficialness in this generation, social media. It's why I deleted Instagram recently, honestly, because it's just like everybody's trying to sell you something. Everybody's just like, freaking just like, look at me. So yeah, I'm on my yacht right now here, drinking matcha. These, I'm just, example. Or, yeah, dude, look, you gotta get them off your broke ass. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, you don't talk about your struggle. You don't talk about how you got there. Hell, you could just be doing this. It's all fake. It's all fugazi. It's not freaking real. And dude, people nowadays, suicide rates are up so much. I mean, people are just hating themselves. I've been a victim of it, dude. Analyzing every single little fiber of your being. I mean, you're unique. You're unique. You were made in God's image in your own unique way. Like, it's just a comparison. Comparison's a thief of joy. It's like, and that's the thing, man. It's just like everybody's got a dark side to them. Everybody's got something to them deep down that, everybody, it's like, what is the thing? It's like all sinners have a future, or all sinners had a past, and all saints have, or all sinners have a future and all saints have a past. That's what it is. So yeah, man. I mean, it's good stuff.
What you were saying too is like a lot of these people that you see are millionaires, billionaires that are so sad and look sad. Maybe they die at this rate, or they die at a young age and they reach success, or they were successful but they die. But it's even more sad to see the people who were chasing money with all their hearts, but they died, but we never even heard about them.
Yeah.
And there's so many of those people, and that's the sad group, man, because there's so many people that get caught up chasing that greenback or that success or that fame, the world over worldly stuff, but they didn't even make it to the point where we knew about them, but they died in the process.
And think about it, there's millions of people out there like that.
And there's so many.
And there's like one thing, I thought about this a lot recently. It's like, you want to be rich in money, but, if you didn't have money, would you want to be rich in family? Would you want to be rich in love? Would you want to be rich in purpose, right? There's a lot of other things that I think have way more innate value than just a dollar sign. So, yeah, man. I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, that's what the world does. It chases that type of stuff.
And you, Marco, could have went and been a neurosurgeon, but you would have been so busy. But look at how rich you are with family and your dad.
You could have gotten in there, dude, making great money. I mean, neurosurgeons obviously do very well, and been miserable. You know what I mean?
I can still get a job.
Look at you now.
Yeah, I have a biochemistry degree. I can still get a fucking $100K.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Plus, man, I can make so much bank being a biochemist, but like, yeah, man, it's what's the dollar sign worth to you? It's not really about that to me. It's about like, what am I gonna give into this, man? Because if you watch, okay, you're gonna see a shift in my content over. I've been doing other kind of stuff and these different types of content, trying to see what's gonna work, but more of it's towards me trying to liquidate my knowledge.
Yeah.
If you watch these posts recently, it's like,
I love that.
It's like
a great
because I'm trying, I'm working with the quick fix stuff, but I'm doing 3 tips that can make your life better through eating, that can make your life better through
simple
training,
stuff,
that can make your life better through helping your family. These 3 quick tips, but that's all just me liquidating my knowledge, so that once I get the followers, once I get whatever, because that stuff's gonna come, but once it comes, I'm truly giving to these people. There's a foundation here built on, oh man, this guy has so many tips, this guy has so much knowledge to give out to me, so that when I become a lifestyle coach, when I become a personal trainer, when I become an online coach, whatever it is, I'm actually giving to these people real knowledge that's built and backboned on a solid foundation. Yeah, dude. And they're going to be like, fuck, I'm taking shit from a real guy who's actually been through the runs, he's done this.
And it's important that you're like documenting all your stuff too.
That's what I'm saying. You're documenting the progress as well.
Reputation, man.
Because they're going to see, all right, he's really gone into this seriously and been doing it. So when I get this guy as a coach, he's a real deal. He's not a player. He's not a faker, He's in this just to help out and to share that knowledge, man. Because I'm 22, I'm young. I have 8 years of lifting. So I was going 14.
Let me ask you something. Would you ever ever consider like, are you on any? You're on any like HGH, like any type of like?
No, nothing.
You're actively against steroids and all that stuff?
No, yeah. I'm taking peptides, so I'm doing that for my back, but it doesn't really help. So I'm probably not going to do this forever.
I was gonna say, yeah, I feel like I hear like mixed opinions, and especially in the fitness industry on like steroids and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing.
Some people are like actively against it. Some people are like, some are too bad for you.
I won't do anything like that unless I'm like, in time. This is my perspective on this. So peptides, they don't mess with your they don't mess with your endocrine system, which produces hormones, which mess with your hormones. Yeah, they don't mess with your hormones. But along that road,
they don't alter it.
They don't alter your hormone production, so it's not going to affect your blood work in like a large scale way like that. Or over time, you're going to have a long term effect on the blood work. So I'm fine with taking peptides for recovery. It's like essentially, you're taking medicine for your back to heal or your joints, whatever. Mostly, it's for joints and stuff. It's not going to heal this injury probably, but
right.
Yeah, man, if I'm ever going through that stuff, it's going to be blood work is checked. But even to me, there's just no real benefit to it right now, and I don't ever need to.
You need a lot of money.
You need a lot of money, but not
time.
Dude, if you were on roids, dude, you would look freaking...
I'd look crazy, but it's like...
that's the thing,
that's
you too.
But then at the end of the day, what am I trying to do with fitness? I'm trying to inspire a real person, a real life person, Chuck, who's been through it, and who's seen... I can look at this guy, oh man, he's natural... You can actually get there.
Dude, and
that's what it's really about,
Dude, yes, brother. Yes. And you know what's the craziest thing, too, with going to the steroids? It's crazy what people do for fame and to get their stuff out there.
Because people just want to blow up, and they're like, oh, yeah, I got on... I saw this post the other day. It was like, yeah, taking steroids one time can ruin your life, or it can make you change your life in 1 year. And there was this amazing transformation that got on steroids, and I'm like, dude, you're missing the point of it all. What is the point of us all going to fitness? To motivate the normal individual, the casual individual who's going to live a normal life and doesn't want to get on steroids. Right. So who am I doing this for, I'm doing this to help out the general public, man. It's not really about this niche specificity of steroid users. You're going to have this weird niche of people who are obsessed with lifting and they all have the wrong idea. And it's like, what kind of following do you want, man? You want general people who you're friends with. I want followers who I can be, because I look back on it, man, what do I want? I write out goals, man. And this is one of the things I've done recently. It's funny, I did this like last week. I wrote out in 5 years, you can look at your life in two ways. In 5 years, where am I going to be if I do the right things, profit, love with my family, close with God, all these great things, but
the stuff you want,
the easier one to look at is in 5 years, if you do all the wrong things, where will you be? And everybody can do that. Everybody can picture their life in a fucked up perspective. You know where you'll be in 5 years if you pick the wrong things. It's so easy. I wrote it out and I drew it, and I'm like, I wrote out a couple, and I'm like, all right, it's really easy for me to see where I could be in 5 years if I choose the wrong thing. So, I'm trying to choose that right path and trying to inspire people to go down that right path. So for me, it's simple, man. Like, what am I really doing this for?
Dude,
what are you really doing it for? That's what it's about.
You're doing great, though, dude. Like, seriously.
I'm going to keep doing it, man. I'm going to keep pushing it. And I think the right followers and the right fan base and the friends. It's not fans, man.
I need some Marco Martinez merch.
Supporters.
I don't like that fan. I don't like the fans, man. It's friends. We're all friends. We're all. I mean, I'm here to help you. You're here to help me.
Supporting you, man.
Yeah, they're supporting me, and they're educating me. I'm educating them. That's what you want.
It's a community.
If I go on live, it's me talking to my friends.
Fame is a drug, dude. So one of the things I wanted. I don't mean to cut you off. We're talking about like obviously with the lengths people will go to get rich, fame, all this. I hate to go back. Obviously, I'm a huge Metallica fan, but Metallica has a song. They played it live. When I saw them live the first time they played it, it's an epic song. It's called "Moth into Flame," and it's about Amy Winehouse. The song's literally about Amy Winehouse, kind of her destruction. It's like nuts because it literally talks about like the perspective. It's like the lyrics like rise and fall, who cares at all, seduced by fame, a moth into the flame. Because that's what fame literally is. And like, getting like doing these steps, like it's like what will people, who will you step over, who will you crush? What will you sacrifice of your own self that is, to put yourself out there and, it's like, everybody has like a stage persona and then off the stage, it's like, they're completely different. Yeah. It's like that giant like bulb, man. And like literally it's like us humans, like you look at that, it's like, you see the glory, as a man, you see like, the finances, the women, like the power. I mean, it could be a drug, man, if you get too much of it. I mean, seriously. It's like, I've always said to myself, I'd rather be rich and not a nobody than rich and famous. Because fame is a drug.
And the problem to me with it is, like, it's funny, because I interact a lot with my followers, man. I've had different people say things, and one of them said to me one time, it stuck with me. He was like, when I started doing these day in the life videos, he's like, oh, does this motivate you to do more? And I was like, no, man, it's not. It motivates me to do less, because I want to do what I want to do, and I don't want to have to record for someone else. Does that make sense? Like, let's say you're going to go do your reading for the day. I don't want to set up a camera and videotape my reading and then I have to put the camera off, edit it.
Dude, you see so much content like that too, dude?
Yes. But
get ready with me. You're waking up out of bed.
Yeah. And I'm like, that stuff, to me, it's there's a sacrifice where I'm sacrificing myself to set up the camera and take the video and maybe help one person out. I'm fine with that, but you can give too much up for that and sacrifice a lot, and you don't have infinite energy, man. So you got to be aware of what you're giving in return, So, like for me, recently I've been wanting to lift, and I got new AirPods, so I want to lift with some music sometimes, and like I haven't been able to do it yet because I'm setting up the camera,
filming,
and not just that, I'm helping my dad at the same time. So sometimes I get clips, and then sometimes I'm just helping my dad, and I forget to set the camera up because we're focused on what we're doing here. But it's like you can give up so much of yourself just to shine in the light, and that's like my friend was telling me. Marco, these guys who are doing these day in life videos, man, they're doing so successful. You could bang and you could blow up doing them. And I watched some of these guys' videos, and I'm like, okay, they're really emphasizing, bro, take the camera. I'm gonna re-back up the car so we can go into the spot.
It looks so fake.
Yeah, it looks so fake. And to me, it's like
it does work.
Yeah, it does. It works. It works. But it's like I'm not gonna build a basis on something that's not me. Like, I'm not going to fabricate everything I do to produce a video. No, it's about getting the task done. I'm here. This is the way I've lived my life, man. I come into the gym, and I do it because I love the task of coming to the gym. I do these things. I help my brother out because I love the task of it. And everybody's like, post more content on your little brother. Everybody loves Michael. And those videos could blow, man. Those videos could blow. I kid you not. I gained like 1,000 followers in the last like 5 days from a Michael video. And I'm like, I can post so much of these. But the reason I don't like doing it, too, is because the life you see, the life of Michael is a life of caring for him and being there for him, being present with what I am doing, not being, I'm setting up a social media camera to film my little brother every minute. Once in a while I'll throw a video out there because it's amazing to see this, that we're taking care of this child and that he's able to live a life where he gets light and he gets family love and he gets all these things from being around his family, because you can throw him in a foster home or whatever, you can throw him in a home where people take care of him. It's just not, there's no love. But none. A lot of these things have to do with being present with what you're actually doing, man. And you can get so lost in the social media with it all. And yes, there's things you gain from it. You gain the idea of, I get to reflect on my day. I get to see everything I've done. But that gets repetitive. So it's like...
Then you're doom scrolling.
Yeah, man. I haven't gotten into that. Luckily, I haven't fallen into that, really. I get on there and I post.
I have before.
But, yeah, I get on there and I post because I have that discipline over the years to get it done. But it's just about, man, like... Be true to yourself when you're doing what you're doing. Be true to yourself, man. That's what it's about. So
you're not trying to film some like 20th century movie, but you're filming the little important things that really matter to you.
And then when you look back on it all, you're gonna see, man, this guy's been doing it. He's been going to the gym. He's been taking care of his family. He's been trying to change his life. He's been trying to work for himself. He's trying to better his life. So that's what it's all about. I'm trying to push that message.
All freaking about, man.
And then right now, Chuck, actually funny talking about that program earlier. Right now, today I was sitting. I'm like, man, I got nothing to do before this, because usually I go to bed like 8. I'm like, I got nothing to do before this. What am I gonna do right now? So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I was reading the Quran, and then I'm like, you know what, man? I'm going to make a workout program, because at least I'll have I'm going to call it the Poppy Transformation Program for my dad, And it's going to be a 16-week program, and I'm building it, and I'm like, man, there's so much knowledge I have, man. It's so much, the philosophy I've looked at lifting, the way I've looked at lifting. The program's going to be, when I push it out, it's not going to be like a typical program, it's very, very structured. But I have a lot of writing. I'm going to have writing in the intro, philosophy. My philosophy of training is based on, flexibility within training. I'm training with a flexible mindset where you can come in. I give them a list of exercises, and I tell them, today you're going to do upper chest exercise, you're going to do lower chest exercise, you're going to do tricep exercise. But look back at the front, and there's a list of exercises, and you're not limited to that. There's more exercises you can incorporate in yourself. These are the ones I prefer. So come back and take a choice. And through this, you learn to navigate the lifting world in a way where I don't come in and I'm structured, and I come in and, I can't get on the Smith machine, man. There's somebody on there. No, I can do incline dumbbell press instead, You have variation in your life. You have variation in your training that applies to the real world. And this is all just knowledge I've built up over the years and experience, man. I'm realizing, man, it's time for me to help share that to people, and maybe, start coaching, start trying to do online coaching, start trying to do life coaching, start trying to help other people out, because I've went through a lot of difficulties, and I've lived a difficult life, being around my family and all these things. So it's experience, man. It's sharing that experience and being honest with yourself.
After just hearing all that.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing. It's even doing this podcast, I feel like I'm giving back to people in a way, just through sharing conversations with you, with friends, with our dads, or people, whoever we may interview. I don't give a shit. This could never blow up. I still feel good about it because it's true. It's something we actually want to do. It's not a facade, and in a way, I feel like I'm helping people, and I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, man, we're getting down here on a Friday night, everybody's at the bars and things, and we're just coming in, we're learning from each other.
Yeah, and
we're growing as individuals.
It's amazing,
This talk today, Chuck, you taught me some things. Yeah. I'm sure we taught you some things. We're all learning here, man.
That's awesome.
And these perspectives you've given me, with the Bible, with God with the book you're reading, on the speaking with the devil, seeing that devil's influence on everything. All of these things are helping us grow as individuals. So, the podcast, man, like we're filming it to post it, but it's really about us growing through this too, man. And
I always feel better after.
And we feel better, and then through this, we grow and we give back more to people.
Yeah, because now I feel like I'm gaining
more.
XP.
That's what it's about, man.
I'm gonna talk to someone. Oh man, yeah, man. Maybe I'm coaching some guy one day, and he's like, man, right now I'm trying to train too, but I'm also I'm in college baseball, and it's really filling up my schedule, And then I'm gonna be like, man, I had a friend like that. But one thing you could do is start to incorporate that training for stress relief. Because it's gonna help you. That's gonna come in, man. That's gonna come into play. Might not even be baseball.
Find healthy ways, yeah.
But you see, I'm throwing all these events, all this knowledge you learn through coming together and living and experiencing it, man. And I come back to this idea at the beginning. You're talking about that phone, man. That phone. I thought about this because I'm like,
it's a drug, dude.
If you've ever hung out with people, man, who can't get off their phone, who can't actually can't, because I've had people who really can't.
Dude, at our parties back in I remember I was always like, dude, get off the weather app, man. Go talk to people.
but it's not just that. It's when you're with an individual one-on-one experience. If I can't enjoy your presence, it's almost like I don't even enjoy people anymore, man. If I can't be here and put the phone down and just, it's funny because me and my friends have never had an issue with that. We're never hanging out. I don't think you'll ever name a time of it where we had an issue with our phones. It never happened because we're so engaged with the individuals here, and we're like, we really care about each other, man. And that's what it's about. We really care about each other. So we sit down and we acknowledge each other, and we respect each other, and we listen to each other, and we all learn from this, man. And that's what it's about, to interact. And people lose that, man. People lose that because they're like, but I care about my games on my phone. I care about my favorite influencer. But it's like, man, do you care about the people you're with in real life? Do you care about the everyday interactions you have? Do you really care about that? Because you don't show it, when you do that. So people need to reflect on that and really, it's going to be hard, man. It's going to be hard to give up that phone. But if you can give up that phone, you can gain a lot more from what you're doing in the real world and from interacting with others. And Chuck, you give me that perspective, and it enlightens me, and it makes me want to express myself on that. So
no, dude, I'm glad. I mean, dude, it's something I still struggle with a lot, dude. I'm always on my phone, whether it be like, God knows what, dude. Twitter. I'm a big Twitter guy. I think Twitter's a unique space. It is a unique space. Instagram. I mean, Snapchat. All these different apps, man. A lot of it just it kind of sucks the life out of me. Like Snapchat, dude. I think Snapchat's a funny concept, and I still fall victim to it. But it's like, just like if you're not actually having a conversation with somebody, you're just sending pictures back and forth of your face, just like. It's funny,
real interaction.
Yeah, man. Like, I could be on a 3-hour ride to Ocean City with you, but I don't give a shit about the phone the whole time because we were actually talking to each other the whole time. I could not look at my phone once, and I would be comfortable.
I used to love those drives,
just looking and talking.
Dude, those drives, whether it be like your boys, like when we go to like away weekend,
or your parents,
man, just talking about life. You know what I mean? Just talking about.
I like those moments. I treasure those moments.
Dude, that's like it's the little things, man.
It's valuing the presence of life, man. This exact second, man. This exact word that comes out of your mouth, So. Chuck, I think this has pretty much been a great episode.
Yeah, this is a great way to end it.
Yeah, dude, I was going to say, guys, thank you so much for freaking having me. I love you boys, and hey, we're just getting started, man.
Dude, we're still all in our 20s. We're going to get you back on.
Dude, I love it.
We have a lot more to share.
I was going to say, I'd love to, man.
But, thank you so much for being on. And every time we finish up an episode, we like to ask the guests, one remark you want to leave, one quote, anything you want to say, a piece of advice, whatever comes to your mind, whatever you want to share towards the people watching that is, your closing remark.
Yeah, 2 things. One, never be afraid to be yourself. At the end of the day, if you think people really are thinking about something that you did from so-and-so long ago, that ship has sailed, man. People really don't care. Just be yourself, be genuine. And second, Romans 10:9, believe on the name of the Lord Jesus Christ and you will be saved, if I'm going to give any type of advice. And then I just think one more thing, too. I would just say, at the end of the day, man, life is very beautiful. Everybody out there, you have your own unique gifts, if you're ever feeling down, man, there's always someone to just talk to. There's always someone out there who's going to listen, shower you with love. And if you don't have that, hit me up because I will do it.
So Chuck Hafer on Instagram, man.
Yeah, Chuck Hafer. Yeah, man. Well, guys, thank you so much for being on, man. Yeah, absolutely, man. Love y'all.
Great episode.
Peace out, guys.
Dude, that was awesome. Holy hell, I could have talked another 3 hours.